This is Dr. Meyer. I'm a pulmonologist in the Sacramento area. During the admission, several questions came up on the weight loss and the calories involved and exercise and so on. An example I gave you, taking 500, 700 calories off my plate and looking at a diet. I weigh 220. My calorie intake would be calculated then to be 2,200. That's a pretty standard calculation. Men 10 or 11 times their body weight is the calories they need to maintain that body weight. And women, they have to eat 9 to 10 calories to maintain their body weight. So I knew I was eating around 2,200 calories a day. And so I need to take 500 calories off my plate. And every 3,500 calories is 1 pound. So if I took 3,500 calories off my plate in 1 week, I would be losing a pound a week. And then, as I told you in the previous YouTube, that I lost in the first 2 months or 8 weeks, I lost 12 pounds. So obviously I took 750 calories off my plate. And I eat in the medical staff lounge, and it's kind of cafeteria, buffet style. And everybody loads their own plate, so I could just, instead of the chicken leg and drumstick, I just cut it in half, and instead of a big potato, I cut in half. And so I ate the food I wanted to eat. I didn't look at what portions of breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but I just cut things in half. And it was very simple. I did no exercise at that time, and so exercise is not important to lose weight. In fact, I have men who try to lose weight and go on an exercise program, and they build up a lot of muscle. And we have to remember that muscle is 50% heavier than fat. And so if they build up muscles, then they're going to gain weight. And I have people that set out to lose weight, went to the diet centers, to the gyms, and they gain weight. They may have lost 2, 3, 4, one even lost 5 inches out of his waist size. He looked better, but the point is the muscle outdid the fat loss. And so exercise is very important in body health. So don't think what I said there. I just didn't at that time. I kept it at the same rate of exercise, basically walking, that I usually do. So that's the mechanics of that, and so that's something very easy that I use in my practice to point out to patients. And patients are just amazed that just such a simple calculation is valid. And one time I had a patient that lost 26 pounds or so in 1 year, and she had taken a dessert off her plate. And dessert would be calculated at about 250 calories a day. That'd be half a pound a week, and losing half a pound a week for 52 weeks is 26 pounds. So it calculates out very accurately in just about any way that you look at it. Now, the one thing that kind of surprised me when I went through this, some of the men just looked at me and taken half the food off the plate. And so that's how you eat less. I've never understood how anybody could eat less. And everybody just heaped the plate up, and they just can't think of putting less on their plate. And as the lady who wrote the Portion Savvy book, and is a very important book in the Hollywood world, is Carrie Wyatt, C-A-R-I-E, Wyatt, W-I-A-T. She's got a master's degree in nutrition, so she has some very valid points in her book, Portion Savvy, the 30-day Smart Plan Eating book. And it's fairly valid, and I didn't put it in my top 3 there, and I think maybe I should have put it in my top 4 books to recommend. The other 2 books that I would recommend are by Dr. Schwartz. And these are all listed on my website, delmeyer.net, and go to diets, or just put my name and diets in Google, and it'll lead you right to it. And Dr. Schwartz found out that he got interested in diets, and didn't have a problem, but he was seeing people that needed diet counseling. And he looked at the data, and the data pointed out that out of 200 people that went on a diet program, only about 10 or so kept the weight off, and that would be just shy of 0.5%. And so he thought that there was a better way of doing that, and he worked on that and came up from his own experience, having been on, he estimates, I think, 200 different diets, and he says here that he found 2,600 diet books out there, and so with 26,000 diet books, I mean, and finding a new way of losing weight wasn't easy. And he points out personally, he, between the ages of 30 and 40, lost 2,000 pounds from dieting. Not all at once, of course, but successive diets. For 20 years, he owned a health chain of health clubs, and that's how he got interested in the programs, and thought that he roll off the pounds, that's right. And it's all terribly wrong, he says, and then he just discovered that diets don't work. And so he wrote the book on diets don't work, and he comes up with lots of good items on how compulsive we are about eating, and what needs to be done. And then he decided that if you're going to study something, you really have to do study the people who make it successful. And diets, people, they study the people that are overweight, and they're the ones that aren't successful. So he started studying thin people. Thin people are naturally thin. He said, well, if somebody wants to go into money management, doesn't look at people that lose money all the time. He goes to people that get rich on it. So, people that are losing weight and are naturally thin, we have to study them to see why they stay thin. And because these people came to him and says, I want to gain weight. I have to put on weight. Any way you can make me gain weight. And so he did an experiment and put them on a diet. And so he put these these thin people on a diet, and they all complained. He said, just hold with it, it'll all work. And so he had them stay on the diet, and after a week he allowed them to get on the scale for the first time. And sure enough, they did lose some weight. And then he told them that go ahead and eat like you usually do. And everybody gained the weight they lost plus some. And that's what we see in the people that gain weight. They're on a diet and they lose weight, and then afterwards they gain more weight. I had this illustrated in one patient to me. She insisted on diet pills, and this is very controversial, and I succumbed and gave her diet pills for 3 months, and each time she went on the diet pill, she lost a bit of weight and she gained more. And she played around with this for several years. I would let her have diet pills 3 months a year, and then said, you can't take this type of drug. It's like Dexedrine, and you can't take it all the time. So you have to go off of it. And after several years, I just got a little nervous about prescribing this type of drug, and she got very upset. And so we went through her chart and charted her weight. When I first saw her, I went down and went up again, and then it went higher to us. And next time she was on diet pills, it went down, and each time it went higher. So she went down, up, but each time it went up. And I noticed that she was 50 pounds heavier at the end of my time treating her than she was when I started treating her. So diets didn't work for her either. And so we found out for these, Dr. Schwartz found out for these thin people, then diets do work for thin people. So they work in reverse to what people think they should work. But he has a lot of good information in his books, and I would certainly recommend them. They're very expensive. Diets Don't Work by Dr. Bob Schwartz. And I lost my initial one, and then I went to Amazon and got the book for just a couple of dollars or so. And then 10 years later, he came out with another book, Diets Still Don't Work. And It's a very interesting book. You know, you have to develop a sense of humor here to do this kind of work, and I guess that's why I went through and ended up reading so many of these and putting them on my website. So you're welcome to look those over and see, get some basic information and look at food management and not a diet, and enjoy eating and get rid of the food that you should be eating. And from there you can go to any diet that your doctor wants you to have, like a diabetic diet, low cholesterol diet, low fat diet. It's easy to evolve it into the entire gamut. So thank you for being with us this week again, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.